everyone, Anita here and welcome to another video. Now, before we actually get to the actual video, I would like to mention that I've had totally different plans for the video this week. I wanted to make a proper painting video in watercolor, something that we haven't seen on this channel for quite some time, but I'm still experiencing a little bit of this Inktober burnout. It's not that bad, it's just very hard for me to actually start doing watercolors or paint anything in that matter. It's just, I feel very intimidated by painting. So I have this amazing idea for a painting and I'm already done with the sketching and everything, but I don't want to rush it. I want to take my time with it, and so I didn't make it for today's video. But instead, I've had a footage recorded for such a long time. It's a pre-Inktober footage of my new watercolor set that I have purchased back in, not October, back in July, I believe, straight after the video I posted, and it will be linked in the description, of course, as well, where I was actually thinking about buying a new watercolor set and thinking about what I wanted from my new watercolor set. So it's quite old news by now, but I don't like to make any reviews or I had to know my watercolor set before I actually got to record anything about it. So yeah, I was waiting for the right moment, and now it's the right moment. You know, I have a perfect hole to fill with another video. So yeah, so that's that. In the background here you can see me happily unpacking the sets. It was the biggest art purchase I've made in forever. I've never made a more expensive art purchase, even if that including my my light box, which was at that point the most expensive. So yeah, it was a big deal for me, and I have quite a lot of things to say about the new watercolor set, and I hope you guys will enjoy it. And next week, I promise I'm going to see you with a new watercolor painting. So yeah, enjoy the video. Bye! Hello everyone, Anita here and welcome to another video. This time we're tackling my new watercolor set. I've been kind of toying with the idea of presenting it for a while, but I didn't know how, because it's been quite a while since I got it. I mean, I've made this big fuss about wanting to buy a new watercolor set back in, what was it, June, July? Well, I've ordered them pretty much the next week from that video, so it's been quite a while. Okay, so let me start at the beginning, because actually me buying this watercolor set was a bit of a problem, because after making the video, just kind of weighing pros and cons of kind of thinking what I want from my watercolor set, well, I've realized that there is a very high chance that I'm never going to decide on my own on the colors I need, because I don't have the passion for paints. I realized that by watching videos from two separate YouTube channels. I'm gonna link them both in the description. One of them was from a Dutch woman called Mandy, and she was presenting all those different paints from different brands, but she was just swatching them, and I was like, how am I going to choose anything? I mean, I don't have unlimited amount of time. I'm the kind of person who, yes, I do my fair share of thinking, but once I decide on something that I want to buy, I want to do it like right now, right this moment, or preferably within the next 2 days, you know. I don't want to have months and months of thinking about paints. The problem with that was that I knew immediately that I wouldn't be able to just set it on a set. I needed to have separate colors depending on my expectations from those colors. So I would have to go color hunting or separate tube hunting or whatever you call it. I've watched a video, which you guys linked to me as well, from Sade. If you're watching this video, I'm really sorry if I pronounce her name wrong. So I watched her video. It's from the channel Sade Saves the Day, and she literally saved the day in this case, because I watched her videos and I was just looking at the amount of knowledge that she had about the colors, amount of thinking that came into the whole topic of choosing your favorite paint, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to accept that I don't know much and it will take me quite a while before I decide what I really like. So I'm just going to go with the recommendation of people who are better at it than me. And I literally went to that video, and once again it's linked in the description. I went to that video and I just looked at the color swatches that she was making, listened to her descriptions of why she chose those colors, why, you know, why this, why not the other, and I just took notes and I've ordered that. All in all, I think that was my best decision, just really going from a recommendation of a person who really knows what they are talking about. So if you're interested in her opinions and her palette, you should go to her video first. Or after, or whatever, but definitely I'm not going to present it in so much detail, and because what she kind of expects from her paint is something on a completely different level than what I expect from my paint. So I'm just showing you what I chose and how my palette looks right now. So this is pretty much it. This is my haul. There are 22 tubes of different brands over here. So I've been discussing this in the previous video, that I've decided that the best solution for me would be to buy tubed paint and then buy those little empty half pans and then fill them and add them to my own palette. So I got 3 packets of those empty half pans, and I have, so this is like 10 in each little baggie. They're from Schminke, if you're interested. So there are 10 in each packet, so I had 30 in all. I have 7 left because there was another color that I've added afterwards, which I just thought I need it there, and you'll see why in a second. And so yeah, I'm very happy with this. It wasn't very expensive and really good buy, good quality. And then another thing that I got was this Schminke palette, the metal case palette. And the funny thing about this is that this palette was 30 euro, I think. And I remember looking at these palettes and thinking that this palette cost almost as much as my watercolor set at that time. Why would I need this? It looks fancy, don't get me wrong, it's so nice and heavy in your hand, but why would I need a palette like that if I have just a, you know, very cheap watercolor set? You know, the set can't be the same price as the palette, it's just ridiculous. So I thought I would never ever buy a palette like that. And then all of a sudden you spend over 200 euro on paint, perspective shifts so that you have all this expensive paint. What else? What's 30 euro for a palette? That's like nothing. I mean, this expensive paint has to have a home. Okay? It was such a weird shift of perspective. I was laughing at it for so long. But I've decided to take this big palette because this is a 48 half pan, I think. Look how much place I still have to grow into that palette. And as you can see, I'm actually using the wells on the side, something I've never really done with my old palettes, because it was annoying me that the plastic wells were stained constantly. So I'm actually using those metal ones, which also surprised me. I did not expect that. So before we go into colors and how I set up this palette and, you know, what mistakes I think I did when buying it, this is the extra little pan that I filled in. This is basically just white gouache. I find myself using white gouache so much that I thought, you know, it just needs its own pan, and I have it in a tube. It's a Winsor&Newton gouache. So I just filled an extra little pan so I don't have to, you know, constantly squeeze the white gouache on a separate like palette or something. It's just, you know, and it works perfectly well. I was afraid for a little bit that the gouache would lose intensity because you still need the extra water to wet it, to basically reactivate it. But no, it's still very much like normal gouache. Very happy with this. So that's how the palette looks like. So now let's go to the colors for a second. Whoa. So I have a variety here. I have a few Daniel Smith colors that I didn't think I would actually get Daniel Smith watercolors, simply because they are more granulating than any other like brands that I've seen. But there are some amazing colors. I just needed to get it from that one brand because none of the others had it. So when I was I don't know how to set it so that it's all visible. Let me. As you can see, I have the colors kind of in rows, right? There is actually a thought process behind those rows. I put all the regular non-granulating colors in these two rows over here. This row here, the third one, is dedicated at the moment, of course, only for granulating colors. And I don't use granulating colors much, but they're just sometimes really handy for adding a little bit of texture. Like I have here blue, brown and black, because snow, wood and stone, you know, you just sometimes need it. And then the bottom one is will be mostly for just colors that I like. So colors that I don't use often, but I like to have them in the pan. I call it like novelty colors for sake of naming it. Just novelty colors. So I really like this green over here and the blue. They're both from Old Holland, and so that's what I filled in there. So your standard colors, granulating colors, and then novelty colors. And I have plenty of room to grow. This palette is probably going to last me forever. I don't see myself ever getting another palette. If anything, I'll just get refills or colors, and I will replace a few colors on this palette because I don't see the need for them. It stems from my inexperience and from my confusion with just there's so many colors. Once again, we go back to SADIE'S video where she describes, you know, why she uses, for example, these particular yellows. Honestly, I don't know why I got the two of them. I was just in a frenzy of making notes, and I noted down two yellows, and after I've ordered them and I put them in pans and I looked at my palette, why would I need two of the literally same yellow? They have different properties, but I don't really go with it. For me it's color. I put it down on paper. I don't do anything else with it. You know, maybe someday I will just use up all of them. I have yellow for years. In a similar way, so as you can see, those two yellows, very similar. While these colors are different, they're all earthy tones. They're all good colors. They're perfect. But there will be process of elimination because I don't use all of them, at least not at the moment. And then these two over here, which are pretty much the exact same color. Yeah, I don't know either, okay? Okay, so for the sake of this little presentation, I have my cheap watercolor pad from Canson that I use because I don't want to, you know, use my expensive paper for stuff. We're gonna go through all the colors and see what they do and what their names are, and you can see them a little bit better. So the first color is Quinacridone Rose. I just had to have this color. This was one of those colors that I had to have in my palette. There was no other way around it. I had to have it. It's just gorgeous, okay? This one is from Daniel Smith. Now Daniel Smith is a little bit of a hit and miss for me because Daniel Smith in Holland, at least, it's so extremely expensive. It's ridiculous how expensive this color is. But this one is so extremely beautiful. It's so pigmented. Actually, all of those paints are extremely pigmented, which was one of the things that really surprised me. I mean, you guys know that I get into that watercolor shock. How I call it is, look at this pigmentation. I just put a little teeny weeny dollop. I actually feel bad about putting that much when it was not necessary. Look how vibrant this color is. It's absolutely crazy how vibrant it is. And one of the things, this was probably one of the reasons why I wanted to get color through recommendation, because I wanted to see and hear from someone that this particular color did not lose the intensity when dry, that it was really pigmented, that it was transparent. I needed to hear that from someone. If I would decide on the colors myself just because I liked something, or I thought, okay, this brand is a good brand, especially that everybody has their own favorites, it would probably have been a miss, okay? I would have been disappointed and wasted my money. In this case, even though I don't use certain colors, I am not unhappy with absolutely any of them, which is for me a huge success. I'm so extremely happy because of that. Let's see, let's just go through Daniel Smith. Another big love of mine is something that SADIE was talking about, this color. It's a Quinacridone Gold from Daniel Smith. She was talking about this color as if it was some kind of holy grail of colors. I decided to give it a try just because I wanted to see the holy grail of color. But this color is so extremely expensive. I think I paid like 17 euro for this tube. It's just, that was like actually that was one half of my previous watercolor set, okay? So while I admit for the way I do watercolors, this thing will last me forever, okay? So I'm not really regretful. But the truth is that I was a little bit like wondering what's the big deal about this color. This color, I hope the camera is showing it. This color is just so absolutely gorgeous. I don't know how to explain it. This is the holy grail of color. I love it. It's so beautiful. The only downside I feel with this color is that it dries a little bit less vibrant. It tones down to what I feel is a little bit more like a yellow ochre, just a teeny weeny bit. So it doesn't stay this beautiful vibrant yellow, it just tones a little bit down. Not enough for it to be a miss though. It's still a gorgeous color. I love it. Okay, another one, quinacridone burnt orange. At the moment I don't remember which ones came from SADIE'S videos. I choose some of them myself. I think quinacridone rose was just something I chose because I needed it in my palette. No, there's no need for so much. Go back to your pen. Go back there. It will not go back. I put it back in the little pan. Quinacridone burnt orange. It's beautiful and transparent. I love it. Mixes perfectly. Doesn't look very orange. It's a very dark orange, but... Now, another thing that's good about getting colors from recommendations that I know that majority of them are single pigment, which means that mixing them is just a blast. I love mixing them. Okay, brown iron oxide, also from Daniel Smith. Now, this was this is the environmentally friendly one. This was a color that I chose by myself just because I wanted to have a very nice granulating brown. I mean, I know SADIE is very big on colors that are non-toxic. I'm not even touching my paint these days. It's gonna be fine. I don't really care for that much. I just needed a color that was very granulating, and this color doesn't need much to start granulating. It's like, it's not even pigment, it's just sand in a tube. I love it. It's beautiful. I don't use it that much. These are the colors that I'm not going to be using that much, but it's just something that I find myself needing lately. You guys know that I'm not very big on granulating colors. And for similar reasons, I chose the Lunar Black color. I think this was a recommendation from SADIE'S video. And this color is also extremely granulating, and it's so dark. There's not much I can tell you about these colors, you know. For me, a color, that's what I said, that if you need specific information, you should go to SADIE'S videos or look for someone else on YouTube, because for me, color is just that. It's just color. I need the color to be transparent. I've noticed that I work with colors that are transparent. I love these the most. And the next thing is, look at this granulation. This is absolutely crazy. And the next thing I really like is just how the color dries. That's pretty much it. I don't lift, I don't do anything crazy with my colors. This is just, you know, these are the basics. I just need it to be pretty. So then moving on to the yellows. I have one color from Sennelier, and that's the Sennelier Yellow Light. That one is definitely from recommendation. And this is one of the colors that I'm very confused about. Just what I told you before. I don't think that I'm gonna use so much of the same yellow, but it's still a beautiful paint. I mean, look at this. Look at this color. And the other color, the other yellow, just to show you how similar they are. And this one is Scheveningen Yellow Light. And it's from the brand Old Holland. So I think what the difference is between these colors, and don't quote me on that, one is staining and the other one isn't, which was supposed to be a very rare thing for watercolors. And that's why I thought, oh, okay, then I should have it. But after the colors actually came in, I thought about it, and I realized that I don't do that. I don't pick the color. I mean, it's always handy to have if I make a little mistake or something, but I don't do it that often to actually warrant, that's the word, buying a separate tube of color just for that. Look how these colors are pretty much the same. There's a slight difference in tint. The Sennelier one is a little bit more lemon colored. The Old Holland one, the Scheveningen one, it's a little bit, I would say, warmer than this one. They're pretty much the same color. That's how I see it. So it's not really, one of them will definitely go eventually. Okay, next one, winsor&newton Indanthrene Blue. I just absolutely love this color. I am a fan of blue of any kind. Blue is my favorite color. Always was. I couldn't help myself. I don't see myself using this color much. I seriously don't. But it's so gorgeous. Look at this color. It's just, it's so beautiful. I can't stop looking at it. I would say it's a little bit of a Prussian blue, kind of the same, like a midnight blue color, but it has a different tint. Compared to the Daniel Smith colors, it wasn't that expensive, so I thought, you know, why not? Why not? Okay, let's take this one. Will you? I think it will, if I really ask it nicely. Oh no! There we go. Okay, we have a nice new canvas to work with. So now we're gonna go to the Schmincke watercolors. I have quite a lot of them just because they were on my recommendation list. What can I say? These colors are really easily accessible. When you think about the 17 euro I had to pay for the Daniel Smith one, I mean, these are American watercolors, if I'm correct. Please don't quote me on that. You know, if they're American indeed, like I think they are, you know, the taxes pay a very big deal. You pay probably taxes over it when they come over here. So that's why they are so expensive with the margin on top of that. I bought bigger tubes to begin with, and they were still not as expensive as the Daniel Smith. Okay, so I got a phthalo green. I don't use that much green because whenever I need a green, I will mix it myself, because the green is one of those colors that, at least for my paintings, work the best if I mix it. So I would, for example, use whatever blue I was using in the painting, since that's the color I usually start with, and go from there instead of trying to fit my green to the picture. So I thought, you know, I still needed to have greens because it makes things easier, but I didn't need that many. So what I did is I got a blue-green, which is the phthalo green, and then I got yellow-green, which is from Winsor&Newton, and I'm actually going to use it here so you see the difference between them. And these are my only two greens. So this one was Schmincke phthalo green, and the other one is a Winsor&Newton Windsor green with the yellow shade, and that color I absolutely love. Look how beautiful it is. So that's the other green. So, and these are the only two greens on my palette. I think the Windsor green was not a recommended color by Sade. The one that she recommends I couldn't find. This was a bit more of my own take on that color, basically looking for an alternative. Do I have to mention that I'm very proud of this color? So another thing, and a lot of you recommended it to me as well on many different videos, was this beautiful ultramarine fine. And this is officially, I mean, ultramarine is not really any like a secret that I love ultramarine blue, but the ultramarine fine is literally just the color for me. It takes away that majority, at least, of the granulation that I hate, and it's just such a beautiful layerable oh my god, just a beautiful blue that I can layer up. I can build the intensity. It doesn't granulate. It's just gorgeous. Okay, it doesn't granulate much. Okay, it will still granulate, but not much. And to compare it, so this one is from Schmincke. I also got a ultramarine blue deep from Old Holland, because I still wanted to have that granulation for different effects like water, snow, sometimes even clouds. So this one is just ultramarine blue deep from Old Holland, and this one has the granulation. These colors are slightly different. I think it has to do with that granulation, but they're still pretty much like comparable. I love them a lot, and I'm very happy that I got both of them. I had my doubts. Okay, I was thinking that I don't need two ultramarine blues, but no, I do. I most definitely do. The next color is my phthalo blue. It's just something that I need to have. I mixed phthalo blue with so many different colors, and I just couldn't imagine having a palette without it. But this is just your regular, you know, phthalo blue. I am so in love with the intensity of this color. You know, I've had that same thing with the previous watercolor set that I bought. I couldn't get used to of how intense these colors are and how beautifully vibrant they dry. It just takes a while to get used to the color. Another one is another classic Prussian blue. I don't use it that much, but I need to have it. There are certain colors that are classics for me, and I just can't imagine not having them in my palette. It's just Prussian blue is one of them. There we go. I mean, everybody's seen Prussian blue, right? So this is still from Schminke. Okay, and then we have the oranges. Once again, with the oranges, it's a little bit of a tricky situation, okay? I'm going to take this paper off again. There is a lot of shaking taking place. So the orange is a little bit of a tricky subject for me because I don't actually use that much orange. But there are certain shades that I needed to have, and even though I'm not using them, I really do feel that they are needed in a palette. Because at some point I will be using them, and then what? I will need my oranges. Chromium Orange Hue from Schminke. I needed a color that would be perfect for that orange hair of that one character that I love to draw, because she has very, very vibrant orange hair, and that orange is not always mixable for me. It just needs that kind of almost neon quality to it, and this color is just doing it for me. So that's Chromium Orange Hue. Another one is Transparent Orange. To me, this color, it looks almost like a more intense version of the Chromium Hue one. But this is such a beautiful color, and it is transparent. I've never realized that the colors I liked the most were transparent. So I'm just kind of exploring the area of transparency, and I'm loving it. Okay, next one is Transparent Brown from Schminke. And this is officially the only brown in my whole palette. I don't consider any of the colors. Of course, there was this brown iron oxide from before, but that one I don't use it normally for painting. That one is just for special effects, okay? And this is the only brown that I have. I kind of feel like this is like a medium brown, and I can successfully mix it with blue to create the nice neutral gray tone. I can add just a little bit of orange to it to make it warmer. It is a very nice versatile brown, surprisingly, because I used to have tons of different shades of brown. I used every single one of them for different things, and all of a sudden I have one brown, and it's just as versatile as any of the other ones. And the colors that I have left are the Old Holland colors. One that I'm very, very excited about is this Golden Baroque Red. That one is definitely from recommendation. It reminds me of this really nice brick red color. And it's the only color in my palette that's actually considered like red. You know, it's called red, Golden Baroque Red. I don't have any other red colors. I only have oranges, browns, because I don't use red in my paintings that much, which will be a problem if I ever have to, but this one is a good runner-up. The next color is the unfortunate Royal Purple Lake. I saw it on the recommendation list because I think this one is from recommendation. It's been a while, I'm not exactly sure anymore. And I got it, I saw it, I loved it, but I didn't realize that it's just... This is a Queen Rose color. I mean, look at it, it looks exactly the same. This is Daniel Smith. Look at that. This is the exact same color. And so, as you can see, definitely one of them, and I'm pretty sure this is the Old Holland will go, just because the tube is so much smaller. But it's not like it's going to go, I'm just going to use them as a replacement. And that was my mistake. I noted down, I'm pretty sure, the Old Holland one. And then when I was picking up the colors, I needed to have the Quinacridone Rose as well. I didn't think that it was the same color. Definitely should have prepared more in there. Okay. 3 colors left. Raw Sienna Deep. A color that I just... I needed to have a good replacement. What is going on with them? Oh, they're just further away. Okay. Raw Sienna Deep. I think this is also a recommendation. And for me, this is just a replacement of my Yellow Ochre. Okay, it's one of those must-haves in my palette. The only thing I have to say is that it's just a color, I know, but compared to the other ones, this one just doesn't seem as pigmented and as saturated, but it does what it's supposed to do, and that's the most important thing. Okay, and then there are the 2 novelty colors that I just picked for the sake of having them, just because I really love them. Oh, will you please? Oh, ow, okay, no, it will not. I'll just pick it from the pan. So these colors are from Old Holland, like I've said, I think. This one is Scheveningen Blue Light, and it's just this really beautiful pre-mixed blue color. And these are not transparent, neither this one nor the green one. but they're just absolutely beautiful and I couldn't pass it. Okay, and then, oh, this one doesn't want to open either. Fine, be like that. And the other one is Old Holland Yellow Green. And the reason why I love this color so much is because it starts in a very green setting, but once you add water and dilute it, it's almost like becomes very, very light. Like you keep adding more yellow to it, I suppose. It's this beautiful grass green color. I just loved it. I could probably mix it from the other colors, of course, but just why? It's gorgeous. And sometimes I need to have colors that are just completely out of, you know, out there. So the reason why I said that I have only 2 greens, I don't really count these colors as part of my main palette. These are just novelty colors, okay? They're colors for fun that I'm going to use once in a while in some kind of setting, but they're not colors that I'm going to use often. They're just the kind of colors like neon colors, okay? They're not the colors that you're going to use all the time, but sometimes they are fun. And that's why, you know, that's why I took those. Goodness, that was a lot. So that's it, guys. That's my whole palette. I'm going to move this away so that we can take a closer look at the palette itself again. There we go. So I made this little swatch table just so I know exactly where each color is. And as I've mentioned before, it's just really easy because really easy to mix up those colors, because as you can see, some of them don't even look like their counterparts. They look much darker in the pans. So it just took me a while to remember where all the colors are, okay? Don't judge me. But yeah, so that's my watercolor palette. It's super, super handy. I'm very happy with it. I was very afraid of buying those paints in the beginning. I mean, you guys saw probably my previous video and you will know that when deciding to spend so much money, it's just a pain, because what if you're going to choose wrong? You know, for me, I don't buy paints often. This will last me years. I might buy new tubes, but this is it. This is going to last me years. So I'm very happy that I got this good quality pan. It's really, really cool because you can take this out. I didn't even know, and you have wells here. So it's perfect. And together with the water brushes, I really keep using this all over the house. As I had this whole setup, which I just had strictly on my desk. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please visit the people mentioned in the video, Mandy and Sade. They have amazing videos with tons of information in them, especially when you're deciding on buying a new watercolor set or you want to compare brands. Very, very helpful videos. Yeah, lifesaver for me, really. So yeah, thank you so very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!